What's good, peeps? Joe Passarelli here, live, the Joe Passarelli channel. Hey, yo, it's the Joe Passarelli show, live on YouTube. I wanted to bring you guys some different kind of content, so I came up with the idea of doing this week and wrestling history segments. Kind of did a few last week with Owen Hart, and Macho Man Randy Savage, and wanted to bring another one this week live to my loyal subscribers here, only on YouTube, the Joe Passarelli Show. Alright, it was 18 years ago this week, folks. 18 years ago, May 27th, 1996, when an event that would change professional wrestling as we know it occurred live on Monday Nitro as the one and only Scott Hall, known to millions of WWF fans around the world as the Bad Guy, Razor Ramon, marches his way down through the crowd. Now, while this is happening, there's a jobber match going on. I think Colonel Parker is managing one of the guys. I can't for the life of me remember who the guys were in the ring when Scott Hall came out. However, they kind of knew to powder and get the hell out of the way. They didn't even give Razor a fight as Scott Hall climbed over the barricade, through the ropes, grabbed the mic, said, "You'll know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here." And of course, as the weeks would progress, we would see Scott Hall continue to make statements, bring in his best friend, Diesel, Kevin Nash. And then, of course, at the pay-per-view in 1996, the big turn of Hulk Hogan, giving rise to the NWO, brother. But none of this would have been possible without Scott Hall and the impression that he made with that debut that night. He really changed the wrestling world. And at that point, folks, let's not forget, this is really before the internet was prevalent. This is before everybody knew the spoilers. No one knew this was going to happen. Nowadays, Jericho's rumored to come back. Rob Van Dam's rumored to come back. This one, that one, Goldberg. There'll be a million sides in the crowd weeks in advance just because we're all on the internet and we're all trying to play armchair quarterback. But back in 1996, the internet was still in its infancy and the IWC, YWC really had not been established yet. So for Razor Ramon Scott Hall to jump the barricade and make his debut Monday, May 27th, 1996, I can't believe it was 18 years ago. I still remember watching this live on Monday Nitro, watching Razor Ramon climb over, going nuts, him cut that incredible promo. I own it on numerous DVDs. I've seen it on YouTube multiple times. It's one of those things I just can't get enough of. It really is one of my favorite moments in wrestling history. And like I said, we really have to give a lot of credit to the Bad Guy, the guy who was in the 2014 class of the WWE Hall of Fame as Razor Ramon, really not honored as Scott Hall for his WCW work, but we all assume that the NWO will get in as a faction, and that'll include WCW Kevin Nash, WCW Scott Hall, and WCW Hulk Hogan, among Eric Bischoff and many, and possibly others. So, could Scott Hall be a two-time Hall of Famer? We shall see. Of course, we know his illustrious career. He was a four-time Intercontinental Champion at the time of leaving the WWE. He had the Intercontinental Championship the most times. Of course, now Jericho has that record at 9. But, I mean, just the mark he left on WCW, yeah, he was never a heavyweight champion, but he was arguably the greatest wrestler of all time in WCW or WWE to never win a heavyweight championship. He really made his mark. He helped create the Sting Crow character, something I learned about recently listening to Steve Austin's podcast, where he was talking to Eric Bischoff, Eric Bischoff, and Eric pretty much laid out the fact that Sting created that whole character. That Scott Hall, created that whole character of Sting, the Crow. And that when Scott Hall was on, there really was no one sharper than him. Of course, we all know in recent years he's had some trials and tribulations. Back in Top Rope a few years ago, that infamous incident where he came actually from Rhode Island Hospital with the wristband on, and the booking staff pushed him out to try to make a few bucks at his expense, which I still have a huge problem with to this day, and I think was a disgusting mark on the business. And you don't treat a legend, or you don't treat a human being like that. Never mind a legend who has given so much to this business, like Scott Hall. But that's neither here nor there. Scott Hall, of course, getting into the Hall of Fame this year, getting sober, despite rumors that he had slipped up a little bit, according to Jake Roberts via an interview and according to Twitter. But Scott Hall still posting pics. A few weeks ago, posted him and Kevin Nash. Bad times don't last, and then he said outsiders forever or whatever, and had a picture of him and Nash hugging. It was a real classy picture. But anyway, I digress. Folks, what do you think? 18 years ago this week, can you believe it? Do you even remember it? Do you think it did change the face of wrestling history? Do you think it made wrestling worse? Do you think it made wrestling better? Do you think he should have stayed in WWF to begin with and maybe been a WWF champion at some point and not jumping ship to WCW? What do you think, folks? Let me know. Joe Passarelli Show. Like, subscribe. Peace. Say hello to the bad guy.